Katt Williams sounded the alarm, and once again, it appears he was light years ahead of the curve. Long before official documents surfaced, he was already calling out powerful celebrities, insisting that the truth was hiding in plain sight. Now that the Epstein files are public, those old warnings don't sound so crazy. They sound prophetic. When Katt sat down on Club Shay Shay, he didn't just crack jokes, he kicked open the door to conversations Hollywood was desperate to suppress. He hinted that famous names, not just politicians, were entangled in scandals they wanted buried. Back then, people laughed it off or dismissed him as bitter. But now, with names appearing in court documents and flight logs, denial is becoming impossible to maintain. Once the Epstein files dropped, fans rushed to shield their favorite stars, unable to accept that the icons they admired could be implicated in such heinous allegations. Jay-Z is one of the names that triggered the most explosive reaction.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the f they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, I think they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our culture.
An anonymous accuser named him in the documents, sparking immediate outrage from his supporters. They argued the timeline didn't align, claiming he was just launching his career in the mid-1990s and lacked access to elite circles. But being new to fame doesn't mean being new to connections. Those are two vastly different things. Even early in his career, Jay-Z was moving comfortably in powerful spaces. Resurfaced clips and interviews show him closely associated with industry titans like Harvey Weinstein, and to many viewers, the dynamic appears uncomfortable, almost controlled. Revisiting those moments has raised questions that were previously overlooked.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
Furthermore, old photos and videos have begun circulating again, placing Jay-Z at high-profile parties alongside controversial figures. At the time, many dismissed Kanye West's outbursts. Now, people are replaying those words with fresh perspective. The revelations didn't stop there. Other celebrities named in the files are facing renewed scrutiny. Naomi Campbell's name appeared in flight logs, revealing she traveled multiple times on Epstein's private jet in the early 2000s. She has publicly stated she had no knowledge of his crimes and stands with the victims. However, circulating emails and archival footage have led many to question how much she truly knew and what role she may have played in recruiting young models under the guise of legitimate work.
I'm still shocked that there's nothing about Naomi Campbell really coming forward yet. I'm surprised. I'm like bitterly surprised. Her time.
Yeah, they said her name was on the list like the most as far as like flight records.
Yeah.
She was on a lot of flights.
A lot of flights.
You mentioned
also Diddy's ex-girlfriend.
Hey.
Isn't that funny? What a small world.
There you go.
After the party is the hotel lobby. After the hey.
Come on, Jack. Come on. Wait.
You want to know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell is finally ready.
Yeah. Y'all ain't heard? Y'all ain't
Cruella DeVille is finally being checked.
Wow. Hey, I've seen something on that.
Listen to me, any woman that Mike Tyson has to put a restraining order on needs to be checked.
That is facts. Them is facts. Oh, wait, hold on, wait.
I keep telling everybody, she the Ghislaine.
Man.
I'm still trying to figure out how she pulled that off. Where she was able to get a white woman to go to jail for.
Then there is Bill Gates. Years ago, he admitted on television that spending time with Epstein was a mistake, claiming it was limited to a few dinners. But the documents paint a picture of a much deeper relationship involving repeated contact and connections that extended far beyond casual meetings. Not long after, his marriage ended, with Melinda Gates later speaking openly about how deeply disturbed she was by Epstein. Bill recently issued a denial and apologized for the association, but few are buying it.
I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that. It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Even Chris Tucker's name surfaced in records linked to a flight on Epstein's jet in the early 2000s. While being listed doesn't automatically prove wrongdoing, the growing list of familiar names makes one thing clear. This wasn't a small circle, and it wasn't limited to one industry. Chris and his team quickly went into damage control, claiming his name only appeared because he was on Epstein's private jet for a so-called humanitarian trip to Africa, focused on charity work and AIDS awareness.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Now, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa. And
Yeah.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation. And I met him and you don't know people, what they do in their private lives. So, yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, what is Lolita Express?
Oh, yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh, yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at. No. I only... Hey, we was going to Africa to save lives.
According to them, the trip also included Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, intended to look official and innocent. However, almost nobody believed that explanation.
Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord mercy.
Ever talk to you about hey, I know Donald Trump. Hey, I know Kevin Spacey. Hey, I know Leonardo DiCaprio. Did he ever talk about these celebrities and these stories with them or anything like that?
No, he would tell me things like I knew when he flew Clinton to Africa, which is what first put him on the map. He told me he went to Africa. He took Spacey, Chris Tucker. He would mention people's names that he was with, but he wouldn't tell me much about them themselves. Mm-hmm. But, he would tell me he was with so-and-so.
If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday?
Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither. Must be the greatest.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to get nobody back. I ain't gonna be able to get no more comedians.
They all coming.
No, they ain't.
Are you kidding?
Nah.
Hey, I promise
good thing
you.
I done got all the rest of them. I done got the ones.
I promise you, everybody trying to double back. You're gonna be having to beat them off with a stick. You won't let him. They're coming. Much as.
Invoking Bill Clinton actually worsened the situation. By now, everyone has seen the photos of Clinton inside Epstein's mansion, looking far too relaxed for someone who supposedly didn't know what was going on. To many, that comfort spoke louder than any official statement. And Chris? He was moving in these same circles while all of this was transpiring, yet he wants the public to believe he was oblivious. That is a hard sell. Just when it seemed Katt was done, other voices entered the fray. As these documents circulated, longtime singer Jaguar Wright resurfaced with her own perspective, adding fuel to the ongoing conversation about power dynamics in the music industry. In a lengthy interview, she explained that her issues with Jay-Z didn't stem from a single incident. Rather, it was a pattern she watched build over time.
Adjacent to, or, traveling in the same circles as the person that's been selected to be this icon. Because let's just be very clear. He was selected, just like Diddy was selected. Question is by who? Now, for many years, I minded my business about a lot of things, but a lot of things came to me. I heard a lot of things. You got to remember, this was back when I was still trying to be amicable with the industry so that I could have my career, so that I could have my life, right? Everything that I worked for, everything that I sacrificed. Up until, 2016, 2017, I was still ignoring a lot of things. A lot of things. It wasn't until I couldn't ignore it anymore because I realized this ain't going nowhere. And then when I started seeing exactly how dangerous things have become, it was very simple. It's either you're going to speak up or they're going to keep getting away with it, or you're going to get handled up on regardless because you're not playing along the way you should be playing along. Like that's how this works. Like the people that get rewarded are the people that keep the secrets, the people that are quiet, and the people that lie for them. The people who get a pass are the people who pretend that like they don't know what's going on. And then the people that speak up are the people that, get persecuted, get framed, get trashed, are forced to go broke, that kind of shit. So yeah, like I cannot say that it was an overnight process. I was hoping. See, I was always so quick to just blame, all of the harm and the terrible shit in the industry on Diddy. I wasn't really willing to accept the fact that they were working together.
Eventually, she reached a breaking point. According to her, the industry didn't reward honesty. It rewarded silence. Those who kept secrets, played along, or feigned ignorance were protected. Those who spoke up, she claimed, were exiled, discredited, or financially ruined. Jaguar also admitted she once blamed all the damage she witnessed on Diddy alone. Over time, she realized the corruption was far more systemic and interconnected than she wanted to admit. That's why she finds it hard to believe public claims that certain powerful figures were never close or never worked together, especially when past interviews and footage suggest otherwise.
So, Jag, with Jay-Z and his situation, as far as the early Jay-Z, you see him with Aaliyah Young, of course, goes to Dame Dash next. You see him with Foxy Brown. You see the maturation of Beyonce and him getting with Beyonce. You see Rihanna at a young age. Is it more so, and you were young as a singer, is it more so that, when you're in this industry, men are going to most likely talk and date their peers? And it's just that technically all the new rising stars at that time
are babies.
Were just young women, just young kids.
Babies. Being ran around by grown men. Babies. I got offered my first record deal when I was 13 years old. I got offered another one when I was 15. I'm so grateful that my father said no. I ended up not signing a record deal until I was in my early 20s. And as young as that is, looking back now, at least I was a legal adult. Most of these girls, They get moved around and touched around very early on. And, you know, and the people that have control of everything are untouchable. So how do you argue with that?
Is it of concern that before this list came out, that the people in this power they have their hands in keeping this list, you know, suppressed?
Yeah. Come on, man. I think we're speaking about this from a place where we're trying to make it seem like things are fair and people are just and people are decent. And rather than looking at it for what it is, the one thing that all of these files and all of these documents, and let's just be clear, we're talking about 3 million documents that have been released so far. When you release that amount of information, you're doing it to fatigue people. You know, it's going to take people quite some time to get through all of these files, and who knows how long they're going to be available. Stuff might start go missing, things of that nature. But we all should be going through and combing through every inch of everything that's going on, because when they put that much out there, they're hoping you're going to just overlook something. They're hoping you're going to get fatigued from all of the information, and you're not. We got to keep looking. Like, we have like 4 people around us that are every day combing through a bit. We combing through a bit. And you got to sit down and you got to take your time and look at it. What these files prove is that there are no rules, is that nothing has ever been fair. It's been being covered up. Like, that's the point.
She explained that denial is a comfort zone for people. It's easier to dismiss uncomfortable truths than to face them. She pointed to media pundits who downplay the Epstein documents, using phrases like, names being mentioned doesn't mean anything, or these aren't official. Jaguar wasn't buying it. Her question was simple. If none of it mattered, why were the files suppressed for so long? She noted that people are quick to destroy innocent individuals over rumors, yet bend over backwards to defend powerful figures tied to Epstein. To her, that doesn't make sense. If someone's name is connected to Epstein in any serious capacity, she believes that alone should warrant serious investigation, not automatic excuses. When the conversation shifted to the Department of Justice, the host asked the burning question: why were these files hidden for so long? The Epstein Files Transparency Act only forced disclosure in mid-2025. But before that, both the Trump and Biden administrations had opportunities to release the information and refused. Jaguar was clear. This isn't about politics.
Trump administration, don't forget the Biden administration had the ability to release these files as well, and they didn't either.
True.
So this isn't a political thing. Let's stop making it political. I think everyone wants to make it political. Oh, look at the politicians, and this isn't about the rappers, and this isn't about this, and this is about the politicians. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you got Democrats and Republicans equally aligned up in this whole foolishness. This is about a certain class of people in this country that have been doing all kinds of shit. And it really doesn't matter what your religious background is, what your social standing is, or what your political standing is. It really doesn't matter. This is not about them versus us, or no. This is about the weirdos and then the normal people. And not even normal people, just decent people. The problem is that the weirdos are outnumbering, it's looking like, the decent people, 10-1. Like, does anybody get that? Like, the simple fact that nobody is holding TMZ into account for anything, and they've been mentioned in these files. Harvey Levin specifically.
Elon Musk's situation also took a sharper turn with the document release. Musk previously stated he refused invitations to Epstein's island, but emails from 2012 suggest a different story.
Tonight, the Department of Justice releasing their final batch of files connected to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New emails from 2012 and 2013 show billionaire Elon Musk and Epstein coordinating a possible visit to the financier's infamous island. Musk asks when the wildest party will be. In another exchange, Epstein telling Musk there is always space for you and says he will send a heli for him. It's not clear if Musk ever visited the island. Musk's name has popped up in prior releases, including from the House Oversight Committee's release from the Epstein estate. He did not respond to NBC News' request for comment, but previously called Epstein a cretin and said he never advised him. Musk told Vanity Fair that Epstein tried repeatedly to get him to his island, but he declined. Emails also show Trump Cabinet Secretary Howard Lutnick coordinating a visit in the Caribbean in 2012. It's not clear if the meetings happened. Lutnick claimed to have cut ties with Epstein in 2005.
My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
But the emails show drink and lunch meetings being arranged between the two well into 2012. A Commerce Secretary spokesperson said in a statement, quote, Secretary Lutnick has had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing. The drop also includes a spreadsheet summary of complaints made to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. It contained allegations against former President Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton. There's no indication the FBI turned up evidence supporting the tips. And a note on the file read some of these individuals are reporting secondhand information and determined some of the tips were not credible. The DOJ later temporarily pulled the file without explanation. Both former presidents have denied any wrongdoing.
Woody Allen's name appears repeatedly throughout the files. Epstein often tried to organize dinners involving Allen, sometimes looping in other high-profile figures. Epstein also helped facilitate introductions related to Allen's film projects. A prominent lawyer even contacted Epstein about getting his son work on an Allen film, to which Epstein responded he would look into it. Katt Williams also pointed out something else people avoid discussing. There are public figures who project a squeaky clean image but somehow never run into legal trouble, even while living lives that suggest the opposite. In his view, that contrast alone should make people pause. He compared it to a chessboard. You don't play the game without pawns, and you don't always know who is playing what role. When asked whether public figures seem changed after reaching certain levels of power, Katt didn't hesitate. He said people don't always emerge the same on the other side of major compromises. Once someone crosses lines, they swore they never would. Something fundamental shifts, and no amount of image rehabilitation can fully restore who they used to be. He explained that offers and coercion aren't limited to entertainment. They permeate every field. Some of it, he noted, is just human nature. People comply, stay quiet, and justify their actions to survive. Katt shared that even he was shocked when he witnessed the level of control certain powerful figures wielded behind the scenes. He recalled moments where it became clear that some people were unaccustomed to hearing the word no. If they wanted something, they expected the system to bend until they got it. Toward the end, the conversation touched on government agencies and long-standing rumors. Katt didn't dismiss them. He argued that people often misunderstand the function of agencies like the FBI or CIA. In his view, they've always been doing their jobs. Sometimes that job involves watching, documenting, and waiting, for decades if necessary. He made one final point that landed hard. The only reason files surfaced decades later is because someone was watching and recording the entire time. That realization, he said, is what should truly unsettle people. Now that the files are public, celebrities who once felt untouchable are suddenly quiet, defensive, or vanishing from the spotlight. Hollywood is uncomfortable right now, and for the first time in a long time, it shows.